Jim Carrey, is he really here? It took me 25 years. I've been a fan of Jim Carrey since I first saw him in the clubs. He has had a legendary career. He's got a new series on Showtime called Wow, we don't usually get to plug Showtime. That shows what an icon you are. It's called Kidding. It starts Sunday. Jim Carrey, everybody. He's really here. Jim Carrey is really here.
Great to see you, man.
Great to see you. Look at that. Wow. Everybody loves Jim Carrey.
I love everybody.
Wow.
It's all good.
Wow, look at
check this out, man. I went out today and bought me some Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
Some freedom-friendly Nikes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. As a salute to Colin Kaepernick, to Nike, congratulations on your fantastic choice. Thank you so much.
Well,
it's good to be back in dystopian America.
It's great to see you in front of a microphone.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to be here.
Really?
I love you so much.
Oh,
I've been
well, thank you.
Glued to this show forever, and I absolutely admire what you do.
Well, it took me forever to get you here, but I knew it would happen.
Well, I had to start reading.
Yeah, you're pretty...
Thank you for waiting for me.
You're pretty... I would always wait for you. I've been a fan of yours, I tell you, since I saw you. The first time I ever saw you, you did an act, and you didn't even speak. You just did impressions with your face.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And I said, this guy...
Yeah, it started early. When I saw Golden Pond when I was a kid, I walked out of the theater and I was like... You want me to pick strawberries? Like, I didn't know I was doing it. I saw myself in a shop window, and I went, wow, that's his face. No, but it came from the inside. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you the story.
Yes,
I don't know if you know this story, but we auditioned the same night at the Comedy Store for Mitzi.
Oh, come on.
Years ago. The night you auditioned.
Certainly it was years ago, Jim.
Okay.
I don't think we have...
All time is happening at once, Bill. Don't you know that?
That's right.
That's the new school of thought. All time happens at once.
Okay, well, yeah, I never was... you were an actor at the Comedy. They didn't like me.
You killed, and I sucked.
Really? Why didn't I get past?
You were so tight. You got past. You were regular and stuff. I got up there, and the microphone fell apart in my hands. The first thing that happened. You know it's going to be one of those nights, right? And I ran past Mitzi back to Canada for 2 years.
I've noticed, we're both around the same age, or you're a little younger, but as time goes by, I noticed that your mind really moves the furniture. Yeah. I don't think that was me. I think you're transferring that with somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think
It's the Mandela effect.
I never did.
Is that how that works?
Yes, you're thinking of Greg Kinnear or something.
Oh, no. You were a young, lovely Bill Maher.
I don't remember ever doing well at the Comedy Store. I'm glad your memories of my life are better than my own.
You were beautiful.
But I must tell you, I've seen you in so many movies, and one way I judge actors is by, I look at a part and I go, yeah, he did great in that part. Could anybody else do it? And usually the answer is yes.
Sure.
With you, a lot of times, Ace Ventura, no. Nobody else could do it. I mean, a lot of it, really, truly.
Yeah.
That is a way
My secret is making the wrong choices, but committing completely.
No, I don't think you have. My favorite movie, and I love many of them, is Cable Guy.
Oh, thank you.
Cable Guy and Truman Show. And I feel like they should be on a film festival together. There's something about them that is very prescient about the way the world came to be.
Absolutely.
You think that?
We are parentless. And we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous thing about what's going on right now. There are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That this
kids say fake news.
That you're supposed to hate half the country. You know? And if anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that a vote is not who you are. And because you voted Republican, you're not stupid, you're not different, you're not worthless. I could break bread with anybody who voted for Trump. We could find some common ground to love each other through, So, just stop doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's all we expect.
All right, so...
Just get it together.
So let's plug your show.
Yes.
Why this character? This
Kidding,
is a show called Kidding.
Well, you know,
You
these
play like
parts,
a Mr. Rogers guy who...
I think the show is really interesting because, first of all, I get to work with Michel Gondry again, which is
Who did?
Was a dream the first time and a dream come true again.
What movie was that?
Eternal Sunshine of the
Okay,
Spotless
there
Mind.
you go.
Yeah.
I think they knew that without...
Oh, I'm sorry. I assume everyone knows my bio. That's really egotistical. But yeah, it was a beautiful experience, and it's about a guy. It's about love being hit by lightning. You know, I mean, this is about a gentleman whose heart is so big, and his approach is so authentic that it's undeniable when you come in contact with him. When he
That sounds like you. I always thought of you as a seeker.
yeah. Well,
You are always seeking something, right?
Yeah,
'Cause you're
and-
not always happy.
No, I'm not always happy. That's for sure. Happy's the weather, and but I do
that's
live
a
in a
mark-
sunny place.
Right.
Yeah, I just have enough,
But that is the
enough
mark of
rain
a
to
seeker.
let the flowers grow. But
You know,
yeah.
because it's hard to find what you're looking for,
Yeah.
especially when it's deep.
Yeah, and basically I've learned how to, and I am as angry and caught up in this stuff as anybody. I'm outraged. It's like a carpet bombing of outrage that's happening.
I
You know, we
see it
wake
in
up-
your art.
Absolutely.
You know, I first saw
furious.
you. I didn't realize until I saw you on Jerry Seinfeld's coffee show when he was at your studio. What a great artist you are. And now I see it all the time on social media because
It took
can we,
me
can we
over
show you a few of these?
Sure, I'd love
Okay, show the I love this one of Trump.
Yeah.
It's real.
Now, a lot of people don't know that that's Ryan and Nunez are the flying monkeys.
Okay.
Perhaps I wasn't detailed enough to.
And then Lincoln is in there.
He was my
Lincoln
yeah,
crying.
Lincoln symbolizes.
I love
for me
that because Trump is always
a president that actually, had the worst tribulations our country has ever faced, and brought us together. Now the opposite is happening right now. We have a president who started out when the country was together, and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb.
Well,
destroying every institution.
Let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring in on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used
con
car
man,
salesman.
absolutely.
And he's, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer. So who knows what the hell is wrong with us?
But as I watched,
Unfortunately, we're in the back seat, right?
right.
We're not in
As I
control.
watched this week, what I kept thinking was, it all comes down to this case of narcissistic personality disorder. We've all talked about it since we've been on the public scene. But we see it in real time. Somebody really unraveling, spiraling toward madness.
So I'm an asshole? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. We're talking.
Oh, you're not talking. You're talking about something.
There was a tape
Sorry.
of him talking to Bob Woodward, right? We heard that this week. At the end of it, he gets a little frustrated and he says, well, accurate is that nobody's ever done a better job than I'm doing as president. He says, how can you...
Job of what? Job of what? Demolition Man?
Right.
There's none left! That lot is clean!
A couple
Perfect implosion.
A couple of weeks ago, he gave himself an A+. You saw that? Even if you thought these things, to say them out loud as often as he does about himself.
But that's his trick, right? I mean, he kind of says these things that are so outrageous over and over and over again until eventually people think that there must be something there, right? That even if it's not, even if he's not worth $10 billion, he must be worth like $1 billion as opposed to, a few million, or as opposed to being in debt a few million, right?
He reported 100 and he was worth 5.
Right.
So that's the ratio of truth to bullshit with Trump. Basically, anything he says is 20 to 1. Okay? It's 20 to 1, man.
But when you have this disorder, when like I was saying before, his personal cabinet now has turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
The person with this disorder is never going to go, maybe it's me.
No, of course not.
Never.
You want to see something interesting.
and
Everybody is saying, well, not everybody's saying. I sound like Trump now. Everybody's saying. Everybody's saying. The guy down here saying. There's a guy under here saying it. The voices in my head are saying.
Yeah. People are saying. That's his thing. People are
I've been on the
saying.
receiving end of one of the tantrums. I met with him twice. And
What'd you do?
Well, I told him no 3 times to his face. He took it well the first time. It was the second and third times he didn't take it so well.
Right.
Over the health care issue, when I tried to explain to him what I thought were problems with the bill and Medicaid and the exchanges and Planned Parenthood, and the second time I told him, he said, "Well, are you?" I told him I was opposed to the bill, and he said, "Why?" I said, "This is on a Thursday." And he said, "Why?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, for the same reasons I told you on Tuesday, 2 days before." And then I went through the issues, and he cut me off, and he said, "You're going to destroy the Republican Party. I'm going to blame you. It's your fault. You know, the tax reform's going to go down." And it just...
You're going to destroy the Republican Party because he couldn't remember what you said on Tuesday?
No, because I wanted to vote for the health care bill. He said it was going to take down tax reform. I finally interrupted him after about, it seemed like going on forever. This was in the cabinet room getting laid into here. I said, "Mr. President, you telling me that this..."
You said Mr. President?
Yeah, of course. I respect the office. Yes, of course. No, he said...
As an affirmation?
I said, "Mr. President," because he kept saying the tax reform bill was going to fail if the health care bill didn't pass. And I said, "Are you telling me if we don't pass this health care bill in this form, we're not going to be able to do tax reform because the baseline's not low enough?" "That's exactly right. And when you lose, you lose." And off he went again. And then in the whole room, everybody says, "Yes, lean, yes." A few lied to him. And then he comes back to me at the end. He says, "You still a hard no?" "I'm still no, Mr. President." He goes off on me again. And then I said, "Well, Mr. President, come on." And he's, "I'm talking to you. I don't want to hear it anymore."
You want to see a mushroom cloud? You want to see a mushroom cloud? Ignore Trump for a week.
Wow.
You know, I had a girlfriend one time, a long time ago, and we were having problems. I went to therapy, and the therapist said, "Sounds like your girlfriend's a little bit borderline personality, and she's, a narcissist and whatever." And I said, "Well, maybe if I just, find a different way to intellectualize or get used to what she's saying, and I could, my comebacks would be different, and I could just accept the fact she's gonna be a dick every once in a while, and whatever." And she said, "Please do. Please try for a week to ignore and not react to these buttons that are being pushed."
The thing is, we actually don't
This was
want a mushroom
before Twitter.
cloud.
No, I know. We don't want it. But if you
That's a
ignore,
little fly in that ointment, yeah.
I'm saying there needs to be people around them.
Okay, that.
Not all
Well,
times,
we
but
had
there
that.
apparently
yeah,
are,
that's
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me
Popo
ask
Gigio
about,
the
since
mouse.
we have the Democratic consultant here of the last successful election, the Democrats seem to be getting their groove back a little bit, and what I mean by that is that Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, Stacey Abrams, Kerry Evelyn Davis, these are all women who won in primaries, weren't supposed to. And they did it with unabashed liberal proposals: Medicare for all, ending student debt, a different approach to the war on terror, ending mass incarceration. It seems like if there is maybe a shining spot in this Trump tragedy, it's that it's made the Democrats sort of rediscover who they are. Mm-hmm. And the voters... Is that what's going on?
Look, I think those fundamental issues, health care, job security, and all of the things that are being addressed, whatever form it takes, you're hearing this kind of across the board. Those candidates reflected their districts well. They reflect their constituencies well. Connor Lamb in your state probably has a slightly different slant on these things, but fundamentally the values, I think, are very consistent. And
so the Republicans are running with the word socialism. They're trying to say...
They're trying to scare people.
Scare people.
It's communism. It's
Venezuela, Trump says. We're going to be living in Venezuela.
I grew up in Canada, okay? We have socialized medicine. And I'm here to tell you that this bullshit line that you get on all of the political shows from people is that it's a failure. The system is a failure in Canada. It is not a failure in Canada. I never waited for anything in my life. I chose my own doctors. My mother never paid for a prescription. It was fantastic. And I just got back from Vancouver, and I keep hearing this, like, Canadians are so nice. Canadians are so nice. They can be nice because they have health care. Because they have a government that cares about them. It doesn't say sink or fucking swim, pal.
Right.
Or you live in a box.
Yeah.
There are certain people in our society that need to be taken care of. There are people without as many opportunities that need to be helped toward those opportunities. There are people who are sick.
But that's the...
You shouldn't have to lose your home because your mother got sick.
And look, I've always said the United States has been a quasi-socialist government for 100 years, for crying out loud. It's not
There's plenty of subsidies for oil companies,
well,
and
but also
everybody else
Medicare and
needs
Social
the handouts,
Security, and
right?
yes, of course. There's nothing more socialistic than some of the Pentagon programs that are
Right.
just jobs programs. The Pentagon says we don't want these tanks, and they build them anyway. If that's not socialism, I don't know what is.
Yeah.